After the 9/11 terrorist attacks, law enforcement discovered the way terrorists had gotten around the Bank Secrecy Act, and Congress was then called on to update the laws to cut off future access, and that's what Congress did. Today's terrorists have a new way to get around the Bank Secrecy Act: cryptocurrency. Last year, an estimated $20 billion in
Yet the latest round of tax cuts comes as the economy is showing signs of stress and raising questions about timing. Even policy analysts told reporters times are good now, but if there's a downturn, what is the response? Will it be cutting spending or education? And if it's raising taxes, who will be impacted by this? Folks, the current proposals for taxes range from small reductions in state income tax rates to getting rid of the individual income tax altogether. Other states are examining more targeted measures, like exempting more retirement income from taxation, and it's a move that would benefit older residents, but potentially take away a revenue that could be used for younger families. Some of these proposals are simply ideas floated by lawmakers and governors that may face a long path to becoming law. In some states, the tax plans are further along, such as in North Dakota, where lawmakers are weighing a bill that would eliminate the individual income tax for single filers making $44,000 or less, and for married filers making $75,000 or less. Other states are focusing their tax cuts on specific groups, such as 10 states that last year created or expanded a child tax credit or earned income tax credit. It's geared toward low-income families. Even the Republican Senator Mitt Romney wants to increase the federal child tax credit payment to $3,000 for people between 6 and 17 years old, and $4,200 for children under 6. The proposal will cut other tax credits to pay for the expansion, including those for child health care costs. Both plans would offer parents the ability to receive the credit as a monthly payment, and Senator Marco Rubio's proposal would pay parents $3,600 for children 6 to 17, and $4,500 for children under 6, but it would not offer a monthly payment option. Vermont also took matters into their own hands after Congress failed to extend the expanded tax credits, and the Republican governor signed off on a $1,000 child tax credit for every child 5 and under. Families who claimed the credits would lose $20 for every $1,000 over the $125,000 they earn. Some states this year are focusing on older residents with tax reductions for retirement income, like Vermont, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. The Arkansas governor, a Republican, is also pledging to eliminate the state's individual income tax, although she said she will start with tax cuts. And according to local news, Governor Polis, a Democrat, is pushing for $200 million in property tax relief this year. It comes after voters last fall approved a cut that reduced the state's flat income from 4.4 to, and even Idaho, which last year lowered its personal and corporate tax rate and created tax rebate of $300, wants to provide. March 31st is an upcoming deadline that all eligible Americans need to take in action in order to receive an extra relief check. And the dozens of states across the country are implementing new stimulus plans, and payments range from $500 to even $1,000. Even the eligible Americans are set to receive direct payments worth up to $1,000 starting next week and beyond. That's because dozens of cities and states across the country have implemented guaranteed basic income programs to support residents through times of inflation and economic uncertainty. But the governor could give up to $500 to people who are paying taxes on their tax returns this year. And it provides Georgia residents who filed their 2021 and 2022 tax returns a special income tax refund. The refund is thanks to a $1 billion surplus in the state's funds. The Department of Revenue will begin issuing payments in the next 6 to 8 weeks, and taxpayers must file their returns before they can even receive a refund. But the bill provides Georgia residents who filed their 2021 and 2022 taxes a return and a special income tax refund. The refund is thanks to a $1 billion surplus in the state's fund, and the Department of Revenue will begin issuing payments in the next 6 to 8 weeks, and taxpayers must file their returns before they can get a refund. Americans will spend thousands of dollars in extra money this year, in part due to the after effects of the crisis. And many are hoping from the federal government that they will take action to help defray the big expenses with another stimulus payment. Since the crisis has led to surging inflation, which has impacted many families and senior citizens, factors that are causing inflation to be at a 40-year high. crisis-related supply chain disruptions and increased demand for goods and services, and following an extended lockdown are two of the lending reasons why prices have gone up so much this year. The U.S. Congress actually said that in a report they showed that how much prices have risen for the typical household, and the numbers are not good. It's bad, everybody. According to the data, even if prices stop going up for the rest of the year, the inflation that has already been happening means that the average American household has already paid around $10,000 more in the past 12 months for these overpriced goods. That's a huge sum of money, and it's the money that most people cannot even afford, especially if their jobs are disrupted or stagnant. And with Americans out of so much cash, many people believe the federal government should step up to provide checks that would cover these costs and losses. According to some economists, if lawmakers wanted to even out the cost for Americans, they would need to send out $8,000 relief checks. Other economists say that even higher payments might need to be sent. If prices continue going up instead of remaining stagnant through the remainder of 2022, something has to be done. People can't relief packages have also been provided for thousands of families, and the good news is that many states are recognizing that inflation has been detrimental, and they're sending out money to help residents cope with this. So while the payments being sent are smaller than the $8,000 checks, at least those in states that are offering aid will get some support to cover the huge extra expenses in inflation and it's causing families to incur some difficulties. So, according to New Mexico, for example, low-income households in New Mexico have less than a week to apply for a fourth stimulus check worth at least $400, and the latest stimulus checks are being administered by the New Mexico Human Services Department. Its state is accepting applications until 5 p.m. on October 7th, and the fourth check is also intended for low-income households. A spokesperson said that depending on the number of eligible applicants, the funds can be distributed accordingly, and our hope is that we get a good amount of applications in so we can serve them and help out the people that need the checks the most. So it's good to see that some states are actually doing some good action and sending out stimulus payments. Good to know. So here, everybody, this is what I need you to know. New Mexico's Department of Finance and Administration is actually starting to send payments also to approved applicants, that is, before the end of November, and applicants who are chosen for this payment will be informed by the confirmation. So state officials, for instance, will also prioritize homes with the lowest incomes. However, the officials have not clarified which households as low income do not have a setting maximum income for this eligibility payment. Now, Maine residents may be eligible to receive up to $850 in crisis relief checks thanks to a surplus in the state budget and offering some financial assistance to address inflation-induced economic strains. About 858,000 Mainers will be eligible for relief check so long as they fill the necessary paperwork just to claim the payment by the end of this month. So to qualify, applicants must be a full-year resident and file their last year's return by the end of this month as well. So people are actually getting stimulus payments and stimulus checks are being sent out.
Or OPM develops and administers human capital policies for the federal workforce and functions as the bedrock of our nation's personnel and management efforts across the executive.